Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. This is your boy Savijos, and in this video we have a new guest with us today. He has always been behind the camera, but for the very first time he has decided to join me in this video. Say hi to Sandeep.
Hey guys.
Thank you so much Sandeep for joining me in this video.
My pleasure.
And in this video we are going to review the new and latest Tamil movie Jagame Thanthiram, which recently got dropped on Netflix.
Yeah.
And we just finished watching the movie, and we have a lot of exciting things to talk about the movie. So without digressing any further, let's just first talk about the trivia. I thought we would make this a little bit interesting by giving more information on how the film was basically thought about and how it got written down into papers and how basically, this whole film was made.
So this movie was made by Karthik Subbaraj, who is the director of movies called Pizza and Jagame Thandhiram. And he has been into filmmaking for the past 10 years. And he is a very well-known and critically acclaimed director in South India. Mm-hmm. He also made this movie called Petta by Talevar Rajnikant. It was a super hit. Mm-hmm. So I was really excited to kind of know more about the history of this movie, like where it began, what was the nemesis like and everything. So he kind of thought about this movie storyline in 2015.
Okay.
He was working in New York for a while in 2015, and he, like all of us, he was like very interested in watching New York mafia
movies.
Yeah, like for example, Gangs of New York or Godfather. Yeah, so he kind of thought about the storyline back in 2015 itself, which actually was kind of little bit different from what the movie right now is.
Correct.
And he actually wanted to cast like stars like Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Morgan Freeman.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but what I also read was that he actually reached out, he actually flew to LA and actually reached out to the casting agent of Robert De Niro. And he did narrate the script, which was the original script before he changed it. And he narrated to the casting agent of Robert De Niro, but unfortunately in Hollywood, as we both know, it's a little bit difficult to get past the casting agents.
It is.
So unfortunately, he couldn't get the Hollywood stars. But if he had got one of the stars, this movie would have been like 10 times far better than.
It would have blown my mind away.
Yeah, I believe at that point he took a detour and went to London. He basically went there and he changed the script a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, to make it suitable to London's atmosphere.
Makes sense. And that makes sense because that's why we see a lot of like scenes in London.
Exactly. It's mostly shot in London, basically.
Right.
Yeah, and then you guys know, like all of you might have watched Game of Thrones.
Oh yes.
So there's this star from Game of Thrones called as James Cosmo, who is playing opposite, like antagonist, as an antagonist opposite Dhanush in this movie, and I was really excited actually to kind of like the cast itself is kind of a really interesting cast.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, right, like Dhanush, the man has been reigning over the industry for the past 2 years, like with movies like Asuran, Power Pandi.
Yeah.
And
he fits the character really well. I think what I liked about this movie was that he brought in like cast from different industries, like Dhanush from Tamil industry, and then Aishwarya Lakshmi and Jojo George from Malayalam film industry, and obviously James Cosmo from Hollywood.
Yeah.
And fun fact, he's actually a big fan of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just like fun watching like all of these like different actors and artists coming from different industry and working together.
This kind of denotes that actors are open to work with actors from different regions and then kind of explore their acting capabilities. And if you leave the market side of the things, like obviously whenever you have stars, the film will always do it will definitely do good. But then when you have actors from different languages and regions, it kind of brings everything together. It basically tells you that art is a platform.
Yeah, and there is no language or any cultural barrier. Like art is art. Right, as long as you have the talent. And that's how I believe like all of these things like fell into place, and Karthik Subbaraj actually he had approached a different production company first, and unfortunately they were kind of busy making different blockbuster movies like Mercer. And finally he approached a different company, and that's when they started filming this project in 2019.
Right.
Yeah, and that was basically the trivia of this movie. It was a little bit long, but like we enjoyed, giving out this trivia, and also enjoyed like learning more about this movie.
Exactly.
It kind of sets up the premise for the review.
Yes.
So yeah, now let's get down to the actual review of the movie. So first thing first, let's talk about the story of the movie in a very high level overview without giving too many details. The whole movie is all about a local gangster who gets hired by an international mobster from London, and basically this local gangster flies all the way to London and tries to help this international mobster in killing his rival gangster, but somehow he ends up in a conflicted state, and which kind of conflicts with his moral values that he believes in. It's all about how he overcomes all of that and how he deals with the situation. So that's just the gist of the story. That's just the high level overview of how the movie is filmed. Now let's talk about the characters of the movie.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. So the first and the important character, the protagonist, is Dhanush. His character is called as Surili. He is the local gangster.
Mm-hmm. He's the local mobster. He's the local gangster that we are talking about.
Yeah.
And he's from Madurai, and he owns a restaurant of his own.
Yeah.
In a way.
Kind of.
In a way.
Kind of. And then basically he is someone who is chilled out, and he likes to involve himself in petty fights and thefts.
Because he feels himself like he's oppressed.
Yeah. He feels that he's oppressed by non-Tamilians, or there is this kind of turf war going on between different communities, due to which he feels like he has to stand up for his own kind, and that's where his character is introduced. So basically, the director is setting up, is telling you that this is what the character is going to do over the entire course of the movie.
And the second character was Peter, who was played by James Cosmo, and he is the famous star from Game of Thrones, and he is the antagonist of the movie, and he is the international mobster that hires Surli, who is Dhanush, to London, and eventually he hires Surli to actually kill a rival gangster who happens to be a Tamilian.
Yeah.
He is a character that does not go well with immigrants in London, and back in those days it seems like there were a lot of immigrants in London, or a lot of people trying to be immigrants of London.
He is basically portrayed as a racist,
xenophobic antagonist. Yeah. One thing that he thinks in the movie, or what he believes in, is that, which also kind of lays out an introduction to the other character, Sivadas.
Exactly.
And he believes that a thorn can be removed by another thorn, kind of.
Yeah.
If that saying makes any sense. So do you want to tell more about Sivadas?
Yeah, so Sivadas is the Indian gangster who is based in London, we were talking about, and he's someone who kind of helps all these immigrants and refugees to settle down in London, get their papers, and help them have like a better life, basically. So he's kind of treated like a godly figure, even though it's not implied, but there's always this kind of like the god-devil paradox that happens in usual gangster crime movies. He's basically, initially he's portrayed as a bad guy, but then as the movie progresses, you'll find out that it is not the case.
Yeah, that he actually happens to have a good side, and he happens to have like a really good character, and that's the reason to whatever he does, basically.
Exactly.
So he's the third main character of the movie. Of course, there's a lot of different other characters, but these are the three main characters. And now let's talk about how the story is plotted and what happens in all of this mix. So a couple of things that we really liked about the movie, the way the story was actually written down
and executed as well.
And executed. So do you want to tell our audience about how the story kind of goes?
Yeah. So basically the first thing is that the cinematography is top notch. You can't deny that.
Correct.
Right? And then
And Karthik Subbaraj is known for that actually.
yeah.
He has very well executed like his own written script.
Exactly, which is very difficult to do.
Which is very difficult to do.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he applied some Hollywood level cinematography. For example, there was this one scene that I really enjoyed, which almost like reminded me of Scarface, you know?
Guess what? I watched Scarface recently, like last week.
So that was like a fresh reminder of the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
So there was this like one scene, this might be a little bit of spoilers, but I do want to mention that the way he executed the scene with Surili in Madurai was kind of reminding me of like Hollywood style Scarface scene.
The one in the kitchen, like in the restaurant. Where
that is just that was just amazing.
It was amazing. And then the next thing that I wanted to say is about the heroine of the movie. Her name, the character's name is Attila, and her name is
Aishwarya Lakshmi.
Aishwarya Lakshmi. Yes. See, the reason why I couldn't even know her name is because her character was that small.
Oh yeah, that is actually true. Like in a way, I was actually thinking like maybe there was no need for that character, but also I do understand why he's coming with that character, maybe to cater to the romantic audience. I guess.
For example, she's basically invisible in the first half, and there's this point where the protagonist, Dhanush, he goes and straight away says I love you. Like, come on, like why? why do you want to do that? It's in the second half that her character kind of plays more role, like where the entire backstory of her happens. So basically, they set up the premise of the movie to be in Sri Lanka. So like where she's a Sri Lankan refugee, and then she has been a refugee from Sri Lanka. She goes to India, Rameshwaram, and then like all her family dies. And then she goes from there. She goes to different parts of the world, and then ends up in London. So it kind of made sense why they should have her character, like an emotional drive for the second half. But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. This did make the movie a little bit of a drag, and could have cut short because the movie is good, but like it was a little bit of drag because of like certain unnecessary characters that we thought about. And what did you think about the different kind of twists and everything, especially in that one scene? You have to talk about it.
Yes. So there's a scene during the interval of the movie, like almost the half point. You can call it as the half point. So Sivadas and Peter, they meet in a restaurant.
Yeah, and that meeting was supposed to be actually a peace meeting.
That's where the fun begins, actually.
Yeah.
So there's this shot, but 5 minutes straight. There's this 360-degree panoramic shot that happens, which kind of reveals each emotion as it goes.
Yeah.
And
I think that was beautifully done by them.
It was. There were actually a little bit of glitches, but you can ignore them.
Yeah.
You can ignore them. Like.
But just the craft and the effort that they put in was like.
It's commendable.
Yeah.
It's commendable. So basically, what happens is that it's a peace meeting. They kind of want me to come to a truce, but then what happens is that Sivadas had a plan to kill Peter.
And Peter had a plan to kill Sivadas as well. Turns out to be that.
And Dhanush is actually helping Sivadas to kill Peter.
Yeah. At least that's what he thought.
That's what he thought. Yeah. So then cut to the chase. Like Sivadas gets the gun, and the bullets are out, and Peter kills Sivadas.
Yeah. That was a really good twist.
Yeah. So here's the thing. At that point, I thought, what else can happen? The entire point is that it has been like over the entire first half, the movie has been revolving around these three main characters, right? One of them dies. Like he won. Like Peter literally won.
Yeah.
You might think that
the movie just ends right there.
I mean, actually, it makes sense to end it right there. I would have ended it right there because I think that the second half was like a really drag.
Okay.
Again, having said that, the cinematography of the movie was really good over the second half as well. The screenplay was tight, right? The editing was tight, but even then, I felt like they could have been some changes to the script in a way that they tried to basically kind of make the second half as like a emotional ride, unnecessary emotional ride.
I think the entire movie could have just been for like an hour or 30 minutes, and that would have been a lot better. But I agree with you. It was a little bit of drag in the second half. But eventually, like I think that's also the part where Dhanush and in his character Surli kind of realizes what he had done, and also finds his own conflict with his Murad, and that's how Surli just sets on his own path, and let's just leave our audience in that cliffhanger. Let's just find it out on themselves. But just to summarize, like the story was good, could have been better, could have been reworked and made it better, and could have been short.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of unnecessary drag here and there.
Yeah. But one thing I forgot to say is that the part where the entire war happens, like the Sri Lankan attack on Sri Lanka, they got it right actually.
Okay.
I actually kind of my eyes like teared up while she was crying.
I see.
Yeah, that was really good. And also one thing, it's actually a very sensitive topic to talk about, like racism. Like over the past few years, we know that the world leaders have been kind of erratic. They have been world leaders. I'm not kind of taking political sides here, but I'm just saying things.
It's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah, but it actually kind of made sense why they wanted to make this movie. But also, I also felt that, again, I might be wrong, I also felt that this thing has been done before already with Kabari. The only thing is that Rajinikanth goes to Malaysia and Dhanush came to London. I mean, right. But again, that's the director's choice. So he tried to kind of make a gangster movie. He tried his best. One more thing is that never place the movie on a single actor's shoulders. This entire movie was basically, like, Dhanush was basically carrying the entire movie on himself. He was also outstanding. Like, we have seen him perform in movies like Asuran, Power Pandi, Karnan. The recent movie Karnan. Like, he always performs. That man can do anything and everything. But you can't just,
rely on just one actor.
Yeah.
A movie is just not about just one lead actor. It's all about all of them playing together.
Yeah, because honestly I felt that Dhanush's character was the only character which had like a complete arc, except for Peter's or Jim Cosmo's character.
Yeah. You will enjoy like a lot of the scenes from the movie.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong. Like, we enjoyed the movie, but it just could have been short and crisp.
There are moments where the movie shines.
Yeah.
But again, the lag in the second half kind of brings it down.
Correct.
For its own good.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's a definitely one-time good watch.
I would totally say that.
Yeah.
It's like a one-time watch. This is what I would say. If I have to summarize, and if I have to give my opinion about this movie, I would just say that, hey, if you don't have anything on your mind, or if you don't have anything on your list to watch, you can definitely watch it.
Yeah.
But keep your expectations like
low. Because I was expecting a lot actually. Yeah. But again, it's okay.
I would rate this like, I don't know, 5 or 6 out of 10. That would be my rating.
Yeah.
It's not bad, it's not good, it's not the greatest movie, but it's okay.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Your final thoughts on the movie?
Well, as I said, Dhanush, I love Dhanush. I've been a fan of Dhanush since like Pudu Pettai. And I love Karthik Subbaraj. But the movie was overall, I tried to understand what he wanted to convey with the movie. But the problem is that he mixed up 2 different ideologies into a single movie. So you either stick to a social cause, right? You either stick to a social cause, or you either stick to a completely gangster kind of theme. You don't mix those 2. Like, you can't bring in social elements. Take The Irishman, take Gangs of New York. It sticks to a single theme. So I think that's what I think. Like, never. I don't like when the genres like are combined together.
Yeah. What would you rate this movie?
You don't want people to hate me, man. You don't want people to hate me.
It's okay. It's all about being honest and giving an honest review.
Well, this is me being nice, so I would give like a 4 out of 10.
That's not too bad. I would still say that it's an okay movie.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed watching. Nevertheless, I don't think it was a waste of time. Like, we did enjoy a lot of scenes. And like I said, if you don't have anything on your list, I would definitely ask or suggest watching this movie. That was it for this video. We totally enjoyed doing this review, and I hope you guys enjoyed our honest review. I know it was a little bit long, but hey, we had to give all the details.
Oh,
So,
thank you for having me, man.
yeah, and thank you so much, Sandeep, for joining me in this video. It was really nice having you here.
Finally.
And we are going to do a lot of reviews like this because we are movie fanatics.
Yeah.
And if you have any feedback for us, or if you have any other reviews that you guys would like us to do let us know in the comment box below. And that was it for this video.
That's it.
We'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, Sandeep, time.
Oh, how is it? Come on.